What's up, everybody? Welcome to the
DickeyDines show!
Today we are playing Castle Crashers, and we got some great stories for you guys.
Oh, hell yeah, dude.
It's gonna be a lot of fun.
I took out a mortgage on the house to buy a bunch of Minion toys. Hope that's cool.
Alright, so when I was a younger lass,
A lass?
a younger lad,
I was gonna say, that implies girl.
I used to go to this summer camp with my buds, my summer buds, and we used to do summer things in the summer. And it was a really cool place. It was like a 10-acre camp, and I went there for a couple weeks every year for a long time. And there was this one time, me and my friend, we were hanging out, and at the camp they had like a free time where you had like 6 hours during the day to like just hang out and do whatever you wanted.
Okay.
And so we're hanging out on this this playground, and there's a big old teeter-totter. So we get on the teeter-totter, and we're just like bored, you know, passing time, whatever.
Yeah.
Waiting for dinner. So my buddy was he was a bigger guy.
Same buddy from the...
Yeah.
Okay.
And so it was a little difficult to do the teetering and the tottering. So at one point I just started standing on it, and then I would like put my full weight into it and like go down into it, you know. And so we did that for a little bit, and at some point I just stopped paying attention and like kind of was doing my own thing, and I turned around and I was kind of like, you know, putting my weight on it and stuff like that, and I was just like in my own little world. And because he was just like, we were just talking, and I was just facing the other way, you know. I didn't realize that one of his buddies called him to like go hang out with him, and so he stands up like on the teeter-totter to get over it, and I'm not paying attention, and I jump and put all my weight full force on the teeter-totter, and I just feel it go like and I turn around real quick, and he is in the air and upside down. He is upside down in the air with his legs in the air, just doing an air cartwheel.
Yes.
Because he had one foot on the teeter-totter
So when, just, like, catapulted
when
inside.
I jumped on it. And so it catapulted him on one side and flipped him upside down in the air. And he landed.
That's fucking awesome.
And he laid there for like 10 minutes just like in pain.
You probably knocked the wind out of him.
Well, yeah, and then the fact that like, you know, the force on one leg like catapulting him probably didn't feel too good. So I was dying for like 5 minutes. I was just like, oh my god, that actually happened.
That's hilarious.
And yeah, it was hilarious, and it was terrible for him, but I thought it was
Yeah, the imagery of just like somebody just flying through the air.
Yeah.
Especially like when it's your bigger friend too, it's just like just flying basically.
Yeah.
Speaking of playgrounds and whatnot, I was over at a playground over at the school I used to go to. It was the elementary school, the same one that I got accused of shitting on.
Yeah.
It was that playground. I went over there in like my teen years.
Yeah.
I was probably like 13 maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we were over there, we were playing games and shit, just doing kid stuff, throwing rocks at each other. Because I didn't learn my lesson from almost killing that kid. I just kept playing with rocks. So my friend was up on the top of the slide, and the way the slide worked is like, there's like the slide here, and then there was like the rest of the toy, and then there was these bars that came down, and they're like these two little metal bars, and they went into the ground. And you're supposed to like, you know, shimmy down them or whatever. So he was on the top, and he was throwing rocks at me, and I was like, oh shit, you know, covering myself, and I was walking backwards, and I tripped over the first bar, and it was like right at my like knee length. So when I tripped backwards, I like hit really hard, and I hit the second bar with my head.
Oh no.
And just like, and it was like a cartoon. Oh fuck. It was like a cartoon because my head literally started to just like, and like,
what?
Dude, it like grew. It lifted up, and it was this big fucking lump on the back of my head. I had like a golf ball. It's probably bigger than that. It was like literally like it was this, like if you were looking at me from the front, you could see it standing.
Oh man.
Like it was bad. It looked like it was about to pop. It ended up looking like one of those like 20-year-old cysts that people don't pop. It was really fucking gnarly. And I'm just like, oh yeah, are we good? And then someone's like, dude, your fucking head. I was like, what do you mean?
You have a tumor.
And they're like, dude, look at it. And I was like, well, I can't. So I went up to like one of the windows at the school and I was looking. I was like, oh my god, dude, I'm gonna die.
You get like this gnarly like head rush of fear, dude, just like
that's basically what happened. Like I was terrified. I was like, dude, if it pops, am I gonna die?
Yeah.
And so I went home and my mom was like in the kitchen. I was like, Mom, I have a problem. She's like, did you hurt yourself again? I'm like, yeah. And she's like, okay, what'd you do? And then she like, as she says, what'd you do? She comes around the corner and she's like, oh my fucking god. Like, looking at her, she could fucking see it.
Yeah.
And she's like, what is that? She comes out, I was like, I hit my head really hard. And she's like, well, yeah, no fucking shit. And so I was like really tired at this point because I felt like I had all my blood was just in this little bubble, and she wouldn't let me go to sleep though because if I went to sleep, she said I might get a concussion or whatever. So what they did was because I wanted to lay down, they drug my bed out. I don't know why this was the solution. They drug my bed out into the living room and let me watch TV, and they had somebody, like one of my friends or my mom, just like sit there and watch me, and if I started to doze off, they'd like, hey, wake up.
Tap you, you know?
Dude, I don't know why. I don't really like directly remember the whole scenario, but I didn't go to the doctor that day.
Really?
Like, so they must have kept me up like all day and then been like, what are we gonna do, just keep him up forever? Like there was this like, okay, well, this is a problem, you can't sleep. I'm like, well, I need to sleep though eventually.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh yeah. So like the
oh yeah.
So like the next
Sleep's
day.
a thing.
So the next day they took me to the doctor, I guess, and he's just like, yeah, you hit your head pretty hard.
Yeah.
Like, oh, no fucking way. And he's just like, yeah, it's benign though. If you go to sleep, you're not gonna like die or get a concussion. Just let it do its thing. I'm like, well, I have like school and stuff, and kids get pretty rough. Like, I'm not trying to go and have people like poke it.
Yeah, right.
And so he gave me a doctor's note, and I missed like a week of school, and it was really cool. But yeah, it was fucking terrifying though to see like a tennis ball grow out of your head.
Oh man, I like how your excuse too was like, kids get pretty rough. I don't want them to poke it. Can I have a doctor's note?
He's like, oh like, yeah, I completely understand.
You already have a golf ball size like mass on your head, but it's like, I don't want people to poke me. So can I please just have a doctor's note?
I don't, not even like, I don't want to go because I'm in pain. It's like, I don't want people to poke it and possibly rupture it.
I don't want them to make fun of me.
Yeah, basically.
For the tennis ball that's on my head. Can I have a note for like a week, please? Oh god, that's funny. Speaking of injury stories, this is a short one, but one time when I was younger, I used to collect knives because I like martial arts and stuff like that, so I would collect all these kinds of throwing stars and knives and shit.
You still do?
Yeah. So I had this knife from my grandpa, and it was like 80 years old.
Jesus.
I'm not even exaggerating. Like, he got it from his grandpa. So it was super old, but so being stupid me, you know, with an 80-year-old knife, of course I'm going to take it outside and start whittling, you know, on, like, branches and stuff with it. So I was doing that, and, you know, I didn't know what I was doing. I'm not a whittler.
A whittler.
Whatever, you know, I'd never done that before. I was just out there with a little stick, just whittling, and I'm kind of not paying attention, as I usually do in my life.
Yeah.
And so I'm whittling, and I slice off, like,
a
chunk. So it was like half my thumb, not like my entire thumb, but it was like at the top, like it was half of the thumbnail. I sliced off half my thumbnail.
Oh, fuck.
And it was just like, because it was really, really freaking sharp knife.
Yeah.
Because he took really good care of it, and you know, like I don't. But so it sliced off half my thumb, and that, you know, that like half second where you're like, you don't think it's actually happened, and you're like, what? But then like blood just starts like pouring out of it, and just I freaked out, and I was like, oh my god. And at this point, like, it wasn't even painful because I was so terrified. Like, I just sliced off half my thumbnail, so like the adrenaline's going. I'm like, oh my god, like, and it's just bleeding profusely.
Yeah.
And so I run inside, and my mom is like, oh my god, what'd you do? And I was like, oh, I sliced my thumb. I was whittling, and I was being a dumbass, and I sliced my thumbnail. And she's looked at it, she's like, yeah, you did. And so she ran it under cold water for like 10 minutes.
Why?
I don't know why.
What,
that's usually
like,
a burn thing.
I was like, does that fix injuries?
I don't know.
I've been stabbed, Mom. Put me in the bath.
Yeah. I think it was supposed to be more like clean it. But like get like any like wood shavings out of it, so it wasn't 10 minutes. It was probably like 3.
It was 3 hours.
But you know, it felt like a long time to me. So she ran it under some cold water, and then she, you know, poured some like hydrogen peroxide on it, which burned like a motherfucker.
I bet.
And then she put a large cotton ball on top.
I'm still like, the thumbnail thing hurts me to think about. It's still like making me cringe.
She put a large cotton ball on top of the wound. This is going to be great in the second half of the story.
Yeah.
And then she put a Band-Aid over the cotton ball.
Oh my god, that's gonna...
So, at this point, I'm in excruciating pain because I'm kind of calming myself down. I'm like, okay, I'm not dead. I'm not dead. It was just a cut. Like, you know, it will look kind of weird. It'll grow back. It'll be fine. So, a couple hours goes by, and I'm going to change the cotton ball because it's like, you know, it was still bleeding a lot and it's gotten kind of crusted.
Yeah.
And so I take off the Band-Aid, and then as I'm thinking to myself, as I pull off the Band-Aid, the cotton ball will come off. Well, cotton is this weird texture-y thing where when it gets in contact with something that coagulates or something sticky like blood, it sticks.
Yeah.
It sticks to it. It doesn't come off easy like a Band-Aid would have. Thanks, Mom. It sticks. And so I pulled it off and I got to that part and it just started pulling my flesh.
Yeah.
And I was like, ah! And it hurt so freaking bad. And so I'm like sitting there, I'm like, oh, like I can't get this off. Like it hurts so bad, I can't get this off. And I'm thinking like, okay, what if I just like rip it really fast and then it will like be good, you know? And,
oh no,
and I'll get it. Well, because it hurts so bad, I didn't want to go through the pain for that much longer. So I was like, if I rip it really fast, okay, I can do this. And I was like amping myself up, and I could feel like, you know, my heart was like pounding and stuff because it was just so painful. I'm like, I have to rip this off. And so I like start slowly doing it, and I'm like, I'm about to do it, and I'm about to rip it off, and I pass out.
Oh my god.
I passed out because of like the pain, and I like my body was just like in shock.
Jeez.
Because I was so like my heart was like
yeah.
And I was like my body was just like, nope, you're done. And I passed out.
You're done being a person.
And I hit the floor, and then I remember I woke up. It was like 10 minutes later. I woke up on the couch, and my mom was sitting there, and she was like, you know, making sure I was still alive and stuff. And she's like, oh, yeah, I came around the corner, saw you on the ground. We put like, what happened? And I was like, I don't know. It was like the thing, you know, that it hurt. And I passed out. And she's like, yeah, when you were passed out, you were like seizing and stuff.
Oh my god.
So yeah, like she said, I was like having a seizure, like shaking like uncontrollably as I was knocked out. So I was like, holy crap. Like, I'm glad I didn't die. And so I'm like, the realization hits me that like I hope this thing's off my finger now.
Yeah.
And I look down, and it's gone.
Okay.
And apparently, when I fell, my hand was still holding the
so you just
Band-Aid.
ripped it off?
And so when I fell, it just ripped it right off.
Yeah.
And it had like, you know.
So your body was like, I got you, fam.
Exactly, yeah.
It knocked
That's
you
exactly
out.
what happened. Yeah, like my body was like, okay, I got this. Just shut up. Just go to sleep. I'll take care of you.
That's
you
funny.
stupid little pussy. I got you. So yeah, I ripped it off, but I passed out. But it was great. And it was weird because I must have hit my head really bad because when I woke up, like the entire day, I had the worst headache
I bet.
in the world. Like it was like a splitting migraine. So yeah, that was fun. So one thing you can learn from this is do not ever put cotton on a open, sticky, bloody wound.
Sounds awful.
Because it sticks to it and it doesn't come off. Just put a Band-Aid on it.
Sounds so fucking painful.
Dude, it was bad. It was really, really bad. I hated it. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode of the DickeyDines Show. If you liked it, hit that like button and subscribe, of course, to see more. We do these kind of videos a lot, as well as other things. Thank you so much again for watching. Really do appreciate it, and we will see you all in the next video.
Goodbye.